and say good morning and welcome to this Center for Conscious Living. We are delighted that you're joining us today. You're part of this field as our consciousness comes together to celebrate the divinity within and the glorious connection with one another and with everybody everywhere. I'm glad you're with us. Know that there are practitioners praying for us, holding the high watch, which is wonderful. And you're invited to just let go of your cares and be present here. Lynn Scheider is one of our practitioners today. Michael Rogers is here as practitioner, as minister, as pastoral support. And Deborah Roderick, I haven't seen her yet, but we'll be doing our prayer requests from Germany. And our first practitioner, who is Reverend Paul Hoyt, who will do our opening invocation.
Thank you, Rev Carol. Good morning, CCL. Take a nice deep breath, relaxing into this space of God, letting go of everything else, standing in this moment right here, right now, for this is the space of God. The divine is right here, right now, not in the past and not in the future, in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. Basking in this beautiful moment of the divine, knowing that we are all individualized expressions of God, that the divine loves us unconditionally, and that we are completely supported by the divine, that the universe conspires for our highest and best, that we are loved beyond measure, that we are inspired and enlightened and awakened by the divine, knowing that the divine watches over this service and orchestrates it perfectly, that every aspect of it is the divine joy, is the divine perfection. Knowing that Rev Carol is this beautiful individualized expression of God, that she steps out of the way and allows the word of the divine to flow through and wash over us all, enlightening, awakening, inspiring us all in this knowingness of the truth of the divine. Knowing that Norman, his voice and the guitar are the expression of God, that the divine flows to and through him and out to us all. Knowing that this service is completely the activity of God. Knowing that we're all taken care of, that we can release our worries and doubts and limitations and stand solidly basking in that joy of the divine and letting go and letting God. And in this knowingness, in this letting go and letting God, we say, and so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. And some of that connection that Paul was talking about is going to be celebrated now with Norman Taylor's song, Connection by Eric Bibb.
Got my own roots to water, got my own family tree, got my own set of heroes that mean something to me. Got my own road to travel, my own story to tell in my own time. Got my own way of talking, got my own way to smile, got my own way of walking, my own look and style, got my own way of praying, my very own way to sing. Still I'm connected to you and everyone, and everything. Got my own list of questions, got my own truth to live, got my own handmade gifts that I'm longing to give, got my own star to follow, my own rivers to cross in my own time. Got my own way of talking, got my own way to smile, got my own way of walking, my own look and style, got my own way of praying, my very own way to sing. Still I'm connected to you and everyone, everything.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you. Beautiful. Yes, and that connection includes West Virginia and North Carolina and or South Carolina and Pennsylvania and Germany and all of us. So thank you very much. And let's ask Reverend Paul to come back for our inspirational reading and then our affirmation, which will be up in the chat.
The reading today is from 365 Science of Mind. Page 345, joy. Sorrow is turned into joy before him. Thou hast put gladness in my heart. Thou hast turned for me my mourning into dancing. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girded me for gladness. Job 41:22. We cannot conceive of the spirit as being sad or depressed. There is ever a song at the center of everything. This song is reflected in all nature, turning mourning into dancing. To put off sackcloth means the turning of the personality to a complete reliance upon the divine. To be girded with gladness means to cover ourselves with the trifold nature of good. This is a symbol of the divine protection, turning the mind to God and recognizing the omnipresence of love, causing us to rejoice as we realize that we are pure spirit, to realize that in pure spirit we live, move, and have our being. Today, I deliberately turn from everything that depresses and sings a song of praise, of gratitude, and of joy. I go forth to meet joy, singing the song of triumph of spirit over all apparent negation. We are to rejoice evermore. There is no sadness in the spirit. It is happy and free, for it knows neither depression nor confusion, and we belong to it, are in and of it. And so it is. And the affirmation today is in your chat room, if you'll join with me in reading it. How wonderful is the power and presence of God. I open my mind, my heart and mind, and let love take over my life. Light shines and illumines the way. Feeling its light, this light of God's presence renews me and allows me to break through any sense of limitation and allows God to be in the world through me as love. And so it is.
Thank you, Paul. I am delighted with that reading because I too was going to talk about joy on the journey. I had sometime during the week, I ran across the phrase, the wisdom of joy. And I really wanted to talk about that, but I wasn't quite that far immersed in joy when I was putting the talk together. So it was very interesting. So we'll do joy on the journey and talk about some of the lessons that have come forward for me during the last couple of weeks. Lessons on allowing and on this beautiful opportunity to notice when and how I can move from, ain't it awful, to how is spirit wanting to express through me, and a kind of a curiosity about, what's next in the middle of all this uncertainty. So in my world, which as Norman told us, we're connected with everyone, but may have a little personal things in it too. My husband had 2 surgeries on his neck in the last couple of weeks. And I realized that I was nervous about when maybe somebody's going to nick something and the spinal cord be compromised. And I realized at some point that thought that it was in there and where it came from. And it's the past. It's nothing right here. When you're in the present and in spirit, as the reading says today with Paul, everything's fine. It was a past idea from someone actually in our congregation that happened to. So I got to notice what my thoughts were, where they come from. And we can all do that. That just the act of noticing, of looking at the thought, moves us to this vaster me that is beyond, around, and able to look at a thought. And we can learn not to be quite so interested in them. And remember that, spiritual work is just releasing. That the divine is everywhere present. That which is perfect, whole, radiant light, peace, whatever we need, is already our essence, right here and right now. And we just need to release, and I think Paul may have said this too in his opening prayer or in the reading, we just ideas or beliefs or anything that we are less than or victims or limited, overwhelmed by condition. Basically, all of it comes down to releasing any idea that we are separate from source. So anyway, I realize I've got this underlying fear that's peeking out. So I put him on the prayer list, of course, and I urge and invite you to do that. We talk about it every Sunday and in our newsletters. Send in your prayer requests. Our practitioners are glorious beings of light, holding that truth for all of us. And so I asked, lots of people to pray for him. And we've had all kinds of adventures and stories along the way. But as I told somebody, his toes move. And so for me, that was a success with that surgery on the neck. So I'm grateful. And he has moved to rehab and, stories again, but they finally got him up for a shower. And as I said to some of the practitioners, it's the little things. So he's very happy now. And we're moving along, progress. But I got to notice during this time the effects of my stories on my vibration and on others. And I wondered, why do we tell these stories? The nurse's button that didn't work when he got to rehab, or running out of his medicine, for heaven's sakes. But it's important. We do need to be heard. We need to be listened to and understood. I noticed that as I shared something with Paul, it was so easy because of all that he went through with his wife, Diane. I didn't need to go into it. He knew, I knew he knew. And there was that connection that Norman sang about. And remembered a lot the Abraham work, the Abraham Hicks work. And one of the things that they say is just find a better thought. Anything that raises your vibration just a bit. It's pretty hard to go from, deep despair or fear into joy. But there are steps along the way that make each thing easier. And it doesn't need to be a long process, but just find anything that raises your vibration. And I realized, how about then the story of being caught in the parking lot. I went into some parking lot. He was at Jefferson in central Philadelphia. And they gave you, I don't even know what they're called. I'm sure most of the rest of you do, some logo or something on my phone that I needed to use to get out. And by the end of the day, and it's late, didn't work. Do I get it bigger? Do I get it smaller? And I finally called a help button and they talked to me for a while. And I said, I can't see anything. They said, go to the other one. I said, the other one's an in thing. I can't. And they left. And finally somebody came by and helped me and could see the thing and told me what to do and opened the, whatever it is, the little thing so my car could pass finally at the end of a very long, difficult day. And I said, oh, okay, but I haven't paid yet. She said, just go on. And I teared up. And that little act of kindness of somebody coming and stopping and helping me was so amazing in that time. And that tearing up and that recognition of how wonderful that little simple act of kindness was so important to me. I remember, and I'm sure you know too, the Dalai Lama saying that my religion is kindness. And maybe that's some of what we're learning in this exceedingly challenging and amazing time of transformation that has been this year. That incredible value of a little act of kindness. Maybe somebody said yesterday, we don't realize the level of adaptation that we've been going through and we've had to undergo. Maybe we should celebrate our resilience. We have all been able to adapt. Not every day great, but someday, every day we're here. So we've adapted to all of the calls and demands that this year has put on us. And it's really important that we are gentle with ourselves, that we are kind to one another, that we are kind to ourselves. And I've had many people offer acts of kindness, and hopefully I have offered acts of kindness. We're all learning to take care of ourselves and to be kind to one another. I was reminded and found this poem from Rumi yesterday, The Guest House. This being human, he says, is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Reminded of another poem, Thich Nhat Hanh, saying, invite those little anger thoughts in for tea. You see how totally that reframing changes everything. Meet them at the door laughing, Rumi says, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So maybe these ideas, these emotions, that idea that I had of somebody that had an interesting result from the surgery. is something from the past that needing to be released, that is in the way of my full and complete embodiment of this glorious divine light that we really are. So one of these mornings after, calls to the hospital in the middle of the night, I remembered the rampage of appreciation also that the Abraham Hicks material is. And I looked it up. I'm sure probably 80% of you know how to do this better than I do, at least. But I went to YouTube and just looked up Rampage of Appreciation. And there are some of the Abraham things, and I listened to it. And I could feel the vibration changing. So maybe remember that if you need to. Gratitude is not an emotion that's engendered by something that happens outside, although certainly it often is, as in the kindness of the woman in the parking lot. But it's also a decision to connect with Source within. When we remember, wait, right here in this moment, take a breath. Let this pause be a Sabbath in my day. God is right here. Eric Butterworth says that about gratitude, it's not an emotional reaction to the blessings you can count. It's an energy you stir up that is causal. Because what? Remember the Abraham Hicks, you ask, the universe says yes. 3, you allow, you move into the vibration of accepting what you've asked for. So gratitude is a causal energy, causing a vibration that is an attraction point for this good that we're desiring in our lives. Conscious evolution begins with each of us. Studied a lot and through the years with Barbara Marx Hubbard, who was a foremost primary proponent of these ideas of conscious evolution. She says conscious evolution begins with each of us when we make the conscious choice to no longer live in separation from the source of our own being. Maybe this morning you can invite a little willingness into your life, a willingness to remember the source of our being, the source of all light, all good, love itself, that is always right here with us. She uses these words. She says, it comes when we realize that our self-centered, separated consciousness cannot take us any farther in fulfilling our full potential. We let go of figuring it out, trying to make it happen, all of the things small self does. Releasing control and inviting the essential self within to incarnate the whole way. We release our human will and invite divine will to be our guide. If you think about it objectively and you had to choose my human will or divine will, you'd get the idea that divine will knew all the answers and knew how to do it better, right? We just get caught up in thinking we need to do it. We know there is a better way. And with that choice to allow the divine, we make a commitment to a profound and fundamental shift in identity, altering our lives and ultimately the planetary condition. We definitely, in this most amazing and certainly challenging year, are the people that are born with this choice. We do need to listen to the promptings of spirit within us. I found a powerful story about listening to spirit last night by Shalini, yes, because I've been saying her name wrong, Balt. It's on Facebook. It's about her experience in 9/11. And I realized that I didn't even know, given my experience with the days in the hospital and stuff, what day it was, till after the newsletter had been sent out. And I realized, wished I'd realized it was 9/11 and something. So this is a noticing of that. This is her post on Facebook. To think 19 years ago, I stood across the street from the World Trade Center watching the destruction. The realization that a voice was what decided whether I lived or died that day still makes me feel both uneasy and grateful. The decision between life and death took less than 2 minutes. She says how she hasn't been sharing this much, but she wants to now. Her office was in Midtown Manhattan on the east side, but on 9/11, I was signed up for a training in our downtown office, which was across from WTC, the World Trade Center. Upon arriving in my training room, settling down, I was early. The building all of a sudden shook. I was thinking, we don't get earthquakes here. What was that? Then I'd look outside the windows and there were papers, just many of them flying by. And I'm thinking, is someone on the roof dumping out files and files of paper? So I was extremely confused at this point. Then you heard someone running down the hall telling everyone to come to the conference room to hear the news. The World Trade Center was attacked. On that TV screen, we saw fire burning, a big hole. Then you see another plane. Many of you will have latent images of all of this because that's the difference, I think, between 9/11 and this COVID thing that has happened to all of us. We saw something as a visual. And with COVID, we didn't know and we don't know where. And it's very different. So the plane went into the other tower. Our building shook one more time, one too many now. Everybody grabbed their stuff and ran downstairs. She said, I really don't remember coming downstairs. There was chaos, there was confusion. At some point, I'm realizing I'm outside the building. She, I'm sure, is in shock by this time. Across from the World Trade Center, watching the towers burn, fire and smoke everywhere. So unreal, no one moved. We were glued, watching, frozen in time. I didn't know a single person because I was at a training. All of my coworkers were back on the east side. I felt alone. All I could think about was my 3-year-old daughter at home. I ran back into the lobby to call my friend at the office, thinking he knows. Maybe he knows where I live, all the important information. In case I don't make it back to Midtown, he'll know. He knew what to do. And I went back outside in the chaos to see the towers still burning. Out of nowhere, I heard a faint voice say, "Get out now." It snapped me out of this bizarre state of mind, this shock. And automatically, very robotically, I turned around and went to the subway station, which was right inside the training building. To my surprise, there was a train waiting with the doors open. I went inside. Next stop, World Trade Center. The train didn't stop. It kept going. We didn't stop. Why didn't we stop for the people? The train didn't stop till we got to Midtown. When I got to my office, eventually I walked in. My coworkers were screaming and crying. They didn't think that I would make it. They were so happy to see me, and I'm confused. Why, what are they, what? What I didn't know was that after I spoke to my friend at the office, went into the subway, which was obviously at this point divinely waiting for me, in that much time, which was less than 2 minutes, the towers had come down. I got onto the last train leaving downtown. For months, I was thankful that I heard the voice, but what haunted me was this. What if I heard that voice and ignored it? What would my family say to my 3-year-old little girl? My heart became a battlefield. So many questions. But the only thing I knew for sure to be truth was that I was divinely pushed out to safety. You know, we have these moments of inspiration, this moment of insight, this still small voice within. Why, I thought. The only answer I could come up with was because there was more for me to do in this life. What was that? I had no clue. I did have a second chance to figure out what that was. that this was the beginning of my return journey to my heart. All my experiences were lessons to free my heart, to know my truth, to remind me of who I am. So when I say you're not alone, the world needs you, you matter, I mean it. We are here. There is something, some reason for us to be here, something for us still to do. I thought about that a lot in this very interconnected world. I have a lot of friends. Many of you know I moved here from California. It was 30 years ago or so, but I still have a lot of friends in California and Oregon, a couple in Washington State too. Jean Houston, who has a beautiful home built by Buckminster Fuller in Medford, Oregon. And I'm on a listserv from the mystery school, which I've attended with her several times. And so there are these stories of the people. Here's one of somebody that's evacuated from her home in Talent, Oregon, one of the towns that had been completely destroyed, shortly before it burned to the ground. She escaped with her most important documents, computer, a few clothes, and her two beloved cats. She's staying with friends while she figures out next step. As she puts it, she's waiting to see what wants to happen. Like everyone who has endured massive loss in this fire, she's in shock and sad. Even as she acknowledges with gratitude the blessings of safety, health, friends, and helpful insurance agents. Both. Inviting all the guests, whatever emotions, but noticing in each opportunity we have to have tea with them, to have this better thought, to move the vibration up. My friend, who's a poet who lives in Medford, Oregon, her name is Mary Watt, who wrote a poem about the fires. She says, when things turn real, when images held for years in fearful imagination surround with very solid effect, when all the warnings are too late, what should we do? I think she's referring to climate change, global warming. No blame placing could bring satisfaction. We are all at fault. No recent actions hold comfort. No shoulda dones make sense. When the names of the suffering and frightened are names of friends and neighbors and strangers seen every day, what should we do? Not just fires, COVID, racial tensions, all kinds of things going on. What should we do? Keep on, the voice says. Help where you can. Comfort any who come. Take in the animals and the displaced. Listen to the stories. Lend hope. Pray. Suspend grief for a better time. Keep on. That's the job we came to do. So we turn from the problem and we focus on God. Even in crisis or when we don't fully understand, things look like they're falling apart, there is always more spirit, more light waiting to express in every situation. Several people have said it this way. I brought two, one from Shauna. Shauna does a lot of the crystal singing bowls and toning. This is the moment we've been preparing for, to be the light when it seems impossibly dark. And a card from Martha Creek, which I have here, that says, go into the darkness and shed light. And a quote from the Paul Zelig work says, denial of God is the only challenge humanity faces. Denial of God. God is right here, right now, in each person, in every situation. We need to remember to look for it, to have that better feeling thought. If you're feeling good, you're allowing the flow of good, the good of the joy, the peace of God to glow through you. If we're not, we're in resistance to it. I'm remembering a story of from the Abraham Hicks material in a class that I taught years ago about the trip from Phoenix to San Diego. You could tell it wasn't this year because we, might not make that trip this year. But the point was to keep looking where you're going, to not stop before the destination. We know that every subject has like a stick with two ends. We talk about it a lot with abundance. You know, you're looking at what you've got or what you don't have. You're looking at the problems or the solution, the destination. We are in the middle of a trip. This is not the destination. There's huge uncertainty about how it's going, what's going to happen, what's going on. But we are in the middle of the trip. We've noticed we're in Yuma. This is their reference. Yuma is a city in the desert on the way to San Diego. It is definitely not San Diego. And if we stop in Yuma and say, but this isn't what I wanted, this is not what I asked for, at that moment, we're not a vibrational match for what we did ask for. So if we are continually creating, and we are, it's important to remember to feel good, to find those moments of rest, of kindness, the story that's uplifting. Those times along the way where we are a match for the joy. We had a sign up in our CCL office for a while, I don't know, reach for a better feeling thought. It was again from this class. And so I invite you to spend just a few moments. In fact, let's do the heart breathing first, because as the story from 9/11 showed us, it's all about remembering to return to our heart. So let's just do a few breaths. Put your hands on your heart. If you're if you're driving and you can pull over, fine. If you're, eating breakfast, maybe put it down for a minute and then change your hands, left over right for me, and breathe, breathing in through the heart. Think about what's working in your life. What's working? What's okay? Where are those moments of joy? What miracles have I noticed in the last week? And then switching your hands once again. Breathing. What are we grateful for? What are you grateful for? In this moment, as you deepen into this deep causal energy, it is the activity of God, as we just allow this little bit of willingness to open to remember that love is right here. Divine is right here. The peace of God surrounds us. And hold that thought and that feeling for a minute, because I'm going to ask us to, as we deepen into this, to send it out in prayer. Ernest Holmes wrote, all the love there is right here, right now with me. Deepen into that understanding, feel that. In the center and core of your being, you know that to be true. All the love in the entire universe exists in the imprint of our cells and the breath. Each breath, the energy in the air in our lungs, the energy of our spirit. You're a microcosm of love. Love is drawn to you at every moment in every way. How would our life change if we were constantly aware of it? If we are awake and aware to the power of love in us, as you, and through you. So I invite you in this moment, as we fall into our hearts, as we are filled with gratitude for the seeming miracles in our life that are really just the presence of God. Send that love out to those of you, your family members, those of you might be praying for. Just feel the power of the community as we are gathered together in this field of love. actually from all over, sending out that love. Whatever way you're drawn to, in whatever area of the world or situation that you would like to bless with peace and the remembrance that God is present. The love knows what to do. We just open as a space of willingness. Grateful for this time together, grateful for this field that we create as we come together, this interconnectedness, this omni-connection. Allowing the divine to flow through, to embody in the space that we call ours, we call us. Knowing it. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. And so we give thanks. And so it is. So it is. So pause for joy along the journey and let your light be your gift to the world around you. God bless you. And so I'll call on Reverend Michael, our pastoral support. We deeply appreciate your support of this community, your coming together with energy and all that we do together. We appreciate your contributions, financial contributions as well. That information is up in the chat. And if you'd like to be on the prayer list, the email is in the chat as well.
Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee in gratitude and joy, knowing that as I give,
I do receive. And Norman Taylor, more blessings as we follow the sun.
Follow the sun, which way the wind blows, the day is done. Breathe in the air, set your intentions, dream with care. Tomorrow's a brand new day for everyone. A brand new moon, a brand new sun. So follow the sun, direction of the bird, the direction of love. Breathe in the air, cherish this moment, cherish this breath. Tomorrow's Tomorrow's a brand new day for everyone. A brand new moon, brand new sun. When you feel life's coming down like a heavy weight, when you feel the sagey society adding to the strain, take a stroll to the nearest waters and remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long, long before you came. So which way the wind blows? What does your heart say? So follow the sun, and which way the wind blows when the day is done. Breathe, breathe in the air, set your intentions, dream with care. Tomorrow's a brand new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun.
Perfect, Norman. Thank you. Thank you. A brand new day. So we move into this blessing that we've offered. Words in my head were from time immemorial. I guess that's a long time, maybe not quite that long. But we offer it to any of you that might be joining us for the first time. And now on this wonderful Zoom platform, why we offer it to each other, knowing that this is an act of kindness that we give to one another. As we say, welcome to this Center for Conscious Living. We're a heart-centered spiritual community. We open ourselves to you in love. We recognize the perfection of God within you. We celebrate the joyous being that you are. You are a radiant point of light, and we are blessed by your presence. Welcome home. And then this Mastermind Covenant, another way we get to pray. It's pretty cool. Mastermind is just another word for this divine love intelligence, this infinite creative source, this whatever words you're using for spirit these days. And I'll tell you the responses if you'd like to close your eyes as we say, knowing there's a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own, and knowing it is responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling, say aloud, I acknowledge. Surrendering to the power of this divine consciousness, knowing I am guided and assisted past any limited perception to God's truth within, now say, I surrender. Knowing forgiveness is the key to change, I now forgive myself and others for all mistaken judgments, and I open the door to unconditional love by saying, I forgive. Realizing my life is a creation of my own thoughts, I now choose to fill my mind with thoughts that are positive, loving, and beautiful. And I allow my life to reflect that choice by saying, I choose. Holding this consciousness for the Center for Conscious Living, we now thank God for the continued prosperity of this spiritual community and for everyone. For myself, I now go within to the silence of my own mind as I state my own specific intentions, knowing the universe always says yes. Please repeat after me. I accept. With a thankful heart and knowing that all I have put into the divine mind is now returned to me, I say, Thank you, God. And this covenant that we said together, the love of God enfolds me. The mind of God inspires me. The Spirit of God enlightens me. The power of God encircles me. I am in God and all is well, for I'm enthusiastic, excited, expectant, and at peace. It says, turn to your neighbor. I guess your neighbor is everybody these days. I'm grateful God has heard you.
Grateful God has heard you.
Mm-hmm. There, I think that just a few announcements. The first is, if you're not on our mailing list, please sign up. We'd love to have you join us. Send your emails to CCL in Morristown at AOL. It's there. If getting on that mail list, then you've got the newsletter. Our classes are coming up. We're just trying to solidify which date and what, but we do have the long-awaited Radical Forgiveness is coming up. The Foundations for Science of Mind is coming up, and a couple of other surprises. So we should have that together for you by next week. The classes will be starting in October. So, and then there's ways to donate in the newsletter. I did mention, I put in the newsletter that Love Orphanage is having another virtual wellness night, supporting them as they're trying to finish everything up to be able to move the kids finally into this home that it's been 7 years or something in the building. So they'll have more space and be able to study for school and not so crowded in one room. So take a look at that. And then all of the things, the virtual salons, meditations in the mornings and afternoon. We have Course in Miracles groups. I don't know what day it is, second. So Course in Miracles will be meeting this Monday. We have men's group, women's group, and lots of exciting things. So the opportunities to be connected for sure. And also opportunities to sing and dance, Norman. Share the light.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I ain't gonna make it shine, just gonna let it shine. I ain't gonna make it shine, just gonna let it shine. Ain't gonna make it shine, just gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
And so we shall. Norman, thank you very much. As you say, and Reverend Paul.
In the chat room is the closing affirmation. If you will read it with me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my body. Life is in my mind. Life is in my feelings. Life is in all my activities. I receive it, I share it, I am it, and I accept it just the way that it is. Thank you, life. And accepting all these gifts, we say, yes.
God bless you, everyone. Have a
God
wonderful
bless
day.
everyone.
Yes. Have a beautiful
Love you
day.
guys.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. Love
Love you
you.
all. Thank you.
Love.
Keep up the service.
Everyone. Needed that message today.
Bye. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
for the
week.
inspiration.
Kathy.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Love
Love you.
Everybody.
Bye.
June, as you can see, it's working.
Hi, Keturah.
Have a great
I know
day.
it.
Hello,
Mike and Ellen and
How
Give
are
me
Hi,
you?
Michael, thanks for letting me in.
Annette, how you
Hi,
doing?
Jeff. Hi, Cassandra.
Hi,
Hi,
Bonnie.
Peggy. Hi, Sarah and Tim.
Hi, Kathy. Hi,
Hello
Marlene.
to
Hi,
everyone.
Joe. Hi, Jeff. Hi,
Love
Joanne.
you guys.
Hi, Marlene.
Oh,
Hi,
Will.
Lynn.
And
Stephen.
Reverend Al, too.
Hi,
Marty.
Joanne.
Where?
Reverend Al.
Will.
I will.
Hi,
Hey,
Bobby.
Will. Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, Judy.
Oh,
Hello, Jude. Hi, Raj.
Peggy, long
Chuck.
time no see.
Hi from Mike and Ellen.
Alicia, Chuck.
Love you.
Hello.
Have a great week.
Hi,
Good
Stephen.
week, everybody.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi.
Where'd you go, Paul?
Everyone,
There's 3 of us.
Have a great day, everyone.
have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, be well.
Love you, everybody.